Welcome, everyone. This is the Ins Justify the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched and deplorable to end all deplorables, two heterosexual white Christian males from the American South talk about culture, philosophy, history, health, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and this is my producer and co-host, Tank. So, crack open a beer.
Hey,
and lend us your ear, because the ends always justify the memes. So, I almost screwed that up. Almost.
it's okay.
Yeah. I saved it. You guys, this is the first time in a long time I'm going to have a few beers on stream. In any case, I hope you all enjoy the show. No guests today, so we expect there to be a few viewers live, but hopefully you will enjoy the replays. And the best part of our show is probably the Memecast News, where we present to you the fake news that is real. All right. First meme is the best way I can have all of the Bernie memes. Because Bernie memes were lit this week, folks, if you did not know. In Silent Bobbage. We got some music here in the background, but I want to be careful with the copyrights. Bill and Ted. Dude, this is like literally off the hook. I spent hours. I got almost 300 Bernie memes. And I was like, I found this is so much better. So much easier. Old Golden Girls.
That's a good one.
Old Keanu. Let me get my glasses on here so I can impersonate Keanu.
So since we're not trying to risk the copyright, this is to the tune of "Baby It's Cold Outside," correct?
Yeah.
I see.
It's like it never ends, though. Mike Pence.
Yeah, somebody went to town. Somebody went to town on this one for sure. Oh my!
Well, the thing was, I had most of these individually collected, and I found this, and I was like, okay, this is just easier. No Boys in the Hood, some Star Wars, little Deadpool. Oh, Bernie. So, guys, if you watch this, just to let you know, we won't be on air for like 2 weeks because I have family business to take care of. We're moving my wife's grandfather from a nursing home in Florida closer to his family, and I'm going to be doing some training with Elliot Hulse, Navy SEALs, and a good friend of mine who's a combat instructor. So, doing good man stuff, get the blood pumping, get some skills, or at least get my skills rehoned, I should say, sharpen them up a little bit. It's should be a good time. So yeah, there was that. Now, what else do I got here? This one I rather enjoyed as well.
Jesus. Oh my God.
And then we have this.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting more high tech with the video memes now. It's we're crossing a new bridge here.
Well, it was just, how could I figure out how to appropriately get these pulled up here? And before you were loading them up, it's much better when I get to do it and you don't get to see them beforehand. Yeah. So here we have a little Bernie Bird.
Oh my god.
And then next it says, when you just woke up and the group chat is already lit. I love the smell of memes in the morning. Smells like gasoline. Apocalypse Now is a great movie, guys. Love the smell of napalm in the morning.
It is what's the book it's based on? Shit.
Oh, I don't even recall, man.
Joseph Conrad. Heart of Darkness. That's what it is.
Oh.
I had to read that book in college.
So guys, I didn't organize these so well today, but whatever. It's going to work out. But we got the actual truth behind the whole Pelosi and Trump, and that's the love affair.
Oh.
Yep. And it's all because of this right here, actually. Did you fall from heaven? No, why? Because you remind me of Lucifer.
Yeah.
All right. So then I got jog on, you racist bigot. Free speech is not about your right to punish Islamophobic racist propaganda or to push Islamophobic racist propaganda. We've always stood against real censorship by state and corporations. How's your mate Trump doing? This is Nigel Farage. Maybe this will teach the radical far left about censorship. And then there's this. Breaking. Facebook has shut down the major left-wing group in Britain. Why is Facebook silencing political activists who speak out for Palestine and Black Lives Matter? Yeah.
Why does the Socialist Workers' Party of Britain give a shit about Black Lives Matter?
Because it helps their goals.
You would think they would care about, I don't know, the workers of Britain, but what do I know?
Well, man, it's all about power and nothing else. Nothing needs to make sense. We're going to get into that today because I think we're going to talk a lot about commie stuff and civilization and why it is so screwed up right now. So then we have, if we can't sacrifice our children to Baal, how will we appease him? This is was a Jim Bob comic, I think. Does pretty good work. Here we have from the MLB, proud Aaron receives the COOF vaccine. That is Hank Aaron, the Hall of Famer. And that was January 5th. And then from Fox News, Hank Aaron's death saddens sports world. We lost a legend. And that was January 22nd. I'm not saying they're correlated. Hank Aaron was 80-something years old. But didn't save him, I can tell you that.
It's just weird that he died of COVID-19 after he got the vaccine.
Well, did he die of COVID-19?
Well, everyone that dies of COVID-19. So
you're right, I forgot. Yeah, well, speaking of vaccines, we have, when you use the blood money to become the biggest farmland owner in the United States, it ain't honest, but it's much. Then we have from the Big Bad Jew Bear, who's an awesome MMA fighter, by the way. The swamp was secretly court-martialed, and Trump is now the secret president. Sure, Lenny.
Oh, my goodness.
And at the bottom, it says, time to deal with reality. We have a tough 4 years in front of us. And it goes on, whatever. But, yeah, Q-tards.
Yeah.
Like, there is no secret president. We're not trusting the plan. That was all. I used to say it was a LARP, but I'm beginning to now think it was a black op meant to incite people.
Why's it got to be black?
Oh, well, When you realize that nothing has killed more communists than actual communism, so you start to support the Communist Party. The hardest choices require the strongest wills. I would never do such a thing, but
why not? Why not?
Right. Well, mainly because I don't want half of the population murdered, but
how many communists are there really, though? It's not half the population. That's why it's a handful.
I mean, if we support them, that's what will happen, or a good quarter of it. To understand what is going on, you need to become fluent in doublespeak, cases, positive tests, asymptomatic, healthy, overwhelmed, understaffed, social distancing, No, no conspiring. Misinformation, alternative opinion, Koof denier, critical thinker, conspiracy theorist, hero.
It's InfoWar.
They're turning the frogs gay. Oh, Jim Bob here again. Before I go, I want to tell you that I'm sorry. Sorry for being an absent father. Sorry for what? I'm so sorry for being. Why?
What the fuck?
Imagine a city where everything is free and you live in a pod, like a luxury prison.
Oh.
What's funny is because when we were talking to Jeremy and Delaney the other week, I had said this, and then I saw this comic, and I was like, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks such a thing. Then we have, no, you can't violently storm the Capitol. It's okay. They have insurance.
Probably better insurance than the mom and pop store down the street for
The
sure.
best insurance in the world because they're never running out of money as long as they can tax you.
Or print it, yeah.
So here we have the people that want to own everything are telling us we will be happy with owning nothing. Davos is in session right now, guys. The World Economic Forum is meeting this week. You know, they had Xi Jinping on there the other day.
Oh, shit. That's Biden's boy, right?
Yeah, that's right. As well as Emmanuel Macron. What's her face? What's the German chancellor's name? I can't recall. Whatever. Anyways, a bunch of world leaders, but somehow, no, they're not planning on how to change and take over the world or do anything like that. No, that's all conspiracy. Increase in suicide, delayed cancer screening, increased drug overdose, increased poverty and homicide, increased obesity and heart disease, increased alcohol consumption. Well, cheers to that.
Hey.
Media and COVID. And hey, yesterday I made a video much along these lines and talked about the things going on in the world around the globe, and it got yeeted. You know, it's ridiculous. Probably because I played some doctor that's banned from being played on YouTube, I assume.
You're talking about Dr. Rand Paul?
Yeah, right. No, that's Ron Paul. Get it right. Oh, Ron's still up there, just not on Facebook.
Wait, Rand Paul's not a doctor?
He is. He's a
Oh, I see. But he's not banned. Okay.
And Ron is an OBG. So
right.
Yeah. So anyways, here we have the lit fights this weekend, and they were lit. Not all of them. There were some slow fights, but the last two were just insane. And I thought McGregor had a really good chance. This is what happened before with Poirier and McGregor, and Poirier just, man, took him out 2 minutes into the second round, like lit him up. And again, this first time they stopped the fight early, and the second time it was no doubt McGregor was done for. So let me jump down a few memes if I can find it. So here it is. So here we have McGregor. But you know, Bernie's such a nice guy. He did visit him in the hospital.
So we'll talk about MMA later. I'll save that.
All right. Yeah. We got plenty of time to talk about plenty of stuff, man. Again, guys, tonight is a chill stream, a chillaxed stream, if you would. We got anybody in the chat yet? Or, you know, we're off on our own. Yeah. Says, we toppled a dictator. Executive orders in the first 3 days. 19, Trump 1, Obama 5, Bush 0, Clinton 1. And Joe Biden's passed about 30 executive orders already. There'll be plenty of talk about those things as well. Don't make me tap the sign. Companies that receive government subsidies are not private. Facebook, YouTube, Google, farming industry. What is it? Amtrak, railroads. Who else? Healthcare. The entire healthcare industry. You people need to learn some first principles, is all I'm saying. You need to learn some things. What is the Great Reset? The Davos Agenda 2021. 444 upvotes and 3,000 plus downvotes. Actually, I covered this on my channel, All Minus One, over on YouTube, Rumble, and PeerTube now, and also what is it? Locals. All links are in the description, by the way. Also, folks, if you want to donate, we have links there. We have an Entropy, we have a Subscribe Star, all that stuff. But yeah, when I looked, it was like the same upvotes, but the downvotes were like 4,000 plus.
That's
and they still leave
an insane ratio.
Yeah, and the comments. This only has the top comment, but it says the only thing that needs reset are these traitors of humanity.
Oh my god!
No, the comments were lit. We'll watch my quick shot segment on it because I cover some of them.
How was the Fed posting?
Oh man, well, there was a little bit, but I didn't go through them all. I just kind of briefly looked.
I love a good Fed post.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have some of that coming up. So here we have the beautiful Barbie doll, Kayleigh McEnany, who was not only quite articulate and was always prepared, but man, she's easy on the eyes. And then we have old Raggedy Ann there. And I don't know if you've seen anything. I don't even know this lady's name of the new press secretary, but she's terrible. She's like, oh, we'll have to come back to that. We'll have to circle back around to that. That's a good question. We'll have to circle back around. We'll have to circle back around. She says it like a million times. A lot of ums and ahs, and don't get me wrong, you and I have a lot of filler words. We say quite a bit. But if you're going to speak to the American public, you should be a little bit better at it. That's all I'm saying. And she's actually not an unattractive lady. She's just not.
She's not McEnany.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's
not like.
That's big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Like that woman is like. I remember I told my wife, because I like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, which is she's running for governor, by the way, in her state. But I thought she was really good and tough, but I guess she couldn't deal with the media any longer. When they brought her in, I was like, have you seen the new press secretary? I was like, she's hot. I was telling my wife this. And my wife like checked it out. She's like, oh my God, yeah, she's so hot. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Good job, Trump. Because as they say, politics is Hollywood for ugly people.
Yeah, I can see for sure.
So, yeah, but men account for 96% of police killings. But that doesn't mean police are sexist. Black Lives Matter. No, 96 men for every 4 women. It's targeted violence. Men commit more crime. You're so close to understanding.
Oh my goodness. That's spicy. That's a spicy one.
Yeah, well, we didn't, that wasn't the 13%ers. Here we have old Bernie getting ready for the
woohoo! Oh wow.
He's about to be blacked.
Oh my
God. Yeah. I told you I had more Bernie memes. We got here, Mando.
Have you seen this? Have you seen the show? This is Mandalorian, right?
Yeah, I like it. It's not like it's slow and it's repetitive. It's
I haven't seen it, but I see a lot of people talking about it.
It literally plays out like an RPG. So it's like, what side mission does Mando have to go on now to get to his main quest? That is Mandalorian essence, but it is like classic Star Wars. It's good. It isn't, old school like I'd like, kind of exactly, but compared to most modern entertainment, it's pretty good. And compared to all of the prequels and sequels, it's amazing. Don't get me wrong, I do like what is the Rogue One.
Yeah,
I did enjoy Rogue One. I wasn't quite sure about it when I first saw it. was watching Razor Fist talk trash on it. But you know, as much as I like Razor Fist and many of his takes, I really don't know about some
Well,
things he says sometimes.
you know, I saw Rogue One and I saw the third one, whatever it's called. I saw them both in theaters, and I'm not buying the DVD. I don't even remember what the movie was about, to be honest with you. But I ate popcorn and drank beer. You know, it was good enough for that. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for me was there was no scroll in the beginning, and I'm an old
Mhm.
school like I like the old Star Wars. I used to play a lot of the video games when I was a kid growing up, and there was always like a scroll in the beginning, and that just I couldn't get past that, and I had to
Mhm.
like rewatch it once or twice. Whereas when I saw The Force Awakens, I thought it was pretty good, and I saw it 2 or 3 times back to back, and I was like, okay, it loses its magic. But then once it came out on streaming and I watched it again, I was like, all right, this movie has no replay value to me.
Yeah.
Whereas I can watch the original trilogy a lot. I've watched it thousands of times in my
Mhm.
life, you know, especially Empire, dude. Empire is the bomb. But there you go. Then again, you know, I have my glasses on and everything. I'm not trying to imitate Razor Fist here. I just thought I'd be Johnny Silverhand. My hair isn't quite long enough yet, but it'll get there. Um, but you know, his favorite Star Wars movie is Jedi, I think, which I'm like, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I like Star Wars, but I don't think they're necessarily good movies, if that makes sense. Like I like a lot of things I'll admit are absolute trash. I believe there's a place for that in our society.
Yeah,
But
we
like
talked
once
about
a
this
year,
before. It's okay to like stuff that's
yeah,
stupid. I mean,
yeah, but like once a year, I'll get drunk and I'll watch like the original Star Wars trilogies, and you know, I'll have a good time. But you know, a lot of people they got super mad about the pre. I never saw the prequel, so I don't know. But I just don't
just
think
not
it's
good movies, man.
yeah.
They're just
But at the
really
same
bad.
time, it's not worth getting that upset over. It's like, dude, it's like if any franchise that lives long enough, they're going to ruin it. Like
Well,
you know that going into it.
the problem was is George Lucas. So he had little kids that he raised by himself forever. He didn't have anyone really be like, hey, George, maybe you shouldn't do things this way.
Right.
He had a lot of limitations in the original movies, and that actually kept him good. Like he's written a lot of great movies. He wrote the original Indiana Jones series, which
Mhm.
were all pretty good. My favorite's The Last Crusade, but you know, when I was a kid, it was Temple of Doom, which is still a pretty good movie. It's a fun movie, but it's the most popcorn of the movies. The other ones are a little bit more serious. He did Willow, which I think is a great movie. I loved that
Mhm.
movie when I was a kid. So he did that with Ron Howard, but you know, you have Ron Howard directing it, who has been a great director. I mean, uh, maybe I could be mistaken, but I don't know a movie that Ron Howard's done that's horrible. Um, so there's probably one out there, but I'm just saying he's a pretty good director. He does a pretty good job. So there just wasn't anybody there saying, "Hey, George, this isn't a good idea. This isn't good." You know, um, and there was a lot of criticism for a lot of good reason, I think. And then he was like, "Oh, the fans are betraying me. Oh no, this is my thing," and I'm trying to be all butthurt. And it's like, dude, you made your wealth based on your side company. What is it? Industrial Light and Magic that did special effects and through toy marketing. That's how you made your money.
Mhm.
Like your art, you only did like 3 movies. He's done like 4 movies on his own. So what was the first movie he did with Harrison Ford? American Graffiti, and then he did THX. I can't remember the number. THX was like his student film very early on, which was a dystopian film. Most people have never seen American Graffiti or THX. So where do they know George Lucas from? Star Wars.
Yeah.
And maybe Indiana Jones, and maybe some people know that he wrote Willow. Anyways, you've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now get ready for
Bernie on a
Bernie.
gurney.
That's right.
Bernie on a gurney. That's a good one.
If the gloves do not fit, you must acquit. The mittens don't fit, you must acquit.
If the mittens don't fittins, you must have quit. That was stupid. I take that. Sorry, guys. That was dumb.
Oh, now I'm about to be a heathen.
Oh my god.
All right. We don't want anyone getting mad at us. Hey, and here I thought MJ was dead. This is I mean, if this isn't Bernie, it's a pretty good lookalike, but this is his nice red, sweet socialist car there.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there's McGregor.
McGregor.
Yeah. So I already showed you these, but it's still pretty good. Uh then we have it was supposed to be my day. You know, guys, I have mittens too. I see Bernie everywhere.
Yeah. He looks so weird now that he's an adult. Because his face stayed the same size, but the rest of
Oh,
his body got bigger.
yeah, and he's fat.
Yeah.
He could definitely like well, that's what they do is they get these kids that are short. I
Mhm.
probably would have worked out as a child actor because they're basically behind the growth curve of what you would expect. So you have like a 10-year-old looking like a 6-year-old sometimes,
Yeah.
right? Because it's easier to work with a 10-year-old than a 6-year-old. And yeah, he basically, yeah, he's very strange looking as an adult for sure. You remember this? Some years ago.
Yeah, it's a throwback on that one.
Yeah. And then good spin on the old cat meme. Biden, Trudenomics shoving the pressure. I keep looking at myself on the screen and I think, man, I really should have brought my leather jacket up here. I could totally sticks it up right now, or razor fist, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Sticks is
here
really
we have,
Sticks is just Razor Fist on, you know, happy pills.
yes. Here we have God creating Bernie.
Oh my goodness. Ugh.
Now, we all know this is from the Zapruder film, but what we recently just found out, we have to go all the way over here, is
Oh
that Bernie
goodness.
was on the lawn.
That's the burn. He saw it. Well, Bernie was like what, 35 when this happened?
I don't think so, but he probably was a teen, I would assume. He got in the government in the 70s, didn't he? In Vermont,
Yeah, I think so.
after he was a pornographer.
Wait, what?
Oh, you know, he's a pornographer. That's one of the reasons why I brought up that fake taxi meme.
I've never heard this. This is the news.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a full on pornographer. He wrote dirty stories for some pornography magazine.
Oh.
All very sexist, of course, because that's actually what women like is sexism, whether they say it or not. And you can deny that, folks, but some of the staunchest feminists I've ever seen, outspoken, they like to be taken charge of. And I mentioned this before. Some years ago, I had a very feminist girlfriend who was one of the most feminine women you would ever meet. And her thing constantly with me is, "You're so manly. You're so manly." It was more like, yeah, I just am going to take charge and do stuff. It's in my nature. So then we have Bernie as the Venus. No one puts Bernie in the corner.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's a good one.
And here again, I mean, I can see this. Actually, I was going to zoom this in, but there's some reflection there that might not fly.
Okay.
And of course, you have the old famous Rockwell painting here.
I mean, there's so many versions of this meme.
Dude, it took off, which is why I was like, I gotta share it. I mean, we didn't have any guests scheduled. We didn't have a lot to talk about. We're gonna go on a little hiatus. Let's have a nice, relaxed, chill stream, you know? Here we have Bernie with the original Watchmen. I think how the one guy has like a noose around his neck or something. What in
Yeah,
the world?
that's a weird. costume he's got there. It looks a little weird.
I'm gonna jump ahead a meme or two. Got Bernie as old Dr. Manhattan.
Oh my god.
That's what would happen if he actually ever came to power.
Oh man. I'm giving away my age knowing that one.
Now we know why Bernie has crazy hair. I mean, I always thought he just brushed it with a balloon, but old Edward Scissorhands, apparently. And we have Weekend at Bernie's.
This is pretty low-hanging fruit. I'm surprised there's not more versions of that.
I mean, there's versions all over the place. So we've already seen one of these.
Mm-hmm.
But what you might not have seen is the X-rated version. I don't remember how old I was. I was probably middle school age something. But when this came out originally, this whole scene was like a huge deal because it showed the vajay. That whole movie was a big deal. Anyways, here we have Road Rage, Psychos, Threaten to Kill Me, My Glock 19 under the seat. Speaking of which, I've said it once and I'll say it again. This has got to be the best meme ever. All right, let's get back to where we were at here. So here we have old Hunter S. Thompson. Bernie going along for the ride. $15 an hour minimum wage. Small businesses barely surviving. Google, Apple, Amazon. Hi, I'm the CIA. You might remember me from such films as WMD in Iraq. How did that cocaine get there? Look, it's the Russians. And coming soon, of course, Biden really got 80 million votes. He did, folks. He did.
More than Obama.
Yes, more than anyone ever. Made up 30 million votes that were unregistered previously. Completely legitimate.
So didn't Trump get the second most votes ever?
Yeah, it's 74, 75 million, just under 75.
So Trump got more votes than Obama.
Yes.
So both Biden and Trump got more votes than Obama.
I could see Trump doing that, not so much Obama's. And if you aren't aware, which I'll have some memes on here soon with our real fake news, there has been a lot of real economic turmoil going on right now. People are trying to crash hedge funds and all kinds of stuff. They're asking for bailouts. I'm like, whatever, man. The Great Reset's coming. I'm moving out to the mountains.
Yeah.
Like people do not. They don't think. They act on emotion and go along with the crowd, and they think some silly things, like burn it all down, that kind of stuff. So, anyways, let's keep moving. It's funny, my buddy showed me this Saturday when I was watching the fights, and then I was like, oh, send me that. And then I came across it like 10 other times afterwards. I was like, well, I guess I didn't need to, because I didn't realize how lit these memes were. There were album covers with Bernie on them. There was all kinds of stuff. I was looking at stuff. Apparently my phone didn't save them, but I was looking at stuff from India, like Bollywood. They were putting Bernie in Bollywood scenes.
Oh my God.
And I was cool with that, because I like, Indian chicks. I can't believe I married white bread, because I like Latin and Indian. I like that dark skin, dark hair stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll have some Bollywood in here. Nope. It got yeeted.
Yeah. That one, there's a Bollywood Trump meme that came out. He did something. It was one of those hilarious shits ever seen. Maybe I can find it, but It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, apparently somebody made an app, like a Snapchat type thing, where it could put Bernie in any picture you wanted.
I love it.
Dan Crenshaw, who I'm not a huge fan of, but I mean, he's all right. But he's basically a very, he's a soft neocon. I'll put it that way. Dan Crenshaw had tweeted or something I saw on his Instagram. He was like, "This meme could unite America." He might have been a little bit right on that. Anyways,
Yeah.
we have that one again. Some people did something, as she once said about 9/11. When I hear 9/11, she's pretty though, man.
Oh yeah, she's hot for sure.
Yeah.
And for her age specifically, she's very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad she's an idiot.
Well, isn't that a lot of hot girls though?
Yeah. Well, she definitely has no moral bearing. I mean, when you break the law, marry your brother in order to get him illegally in the country while you're still married, and then you get back with your husband because you never were divorced, really divorced, and then you cheat on your husband with one of your aides who you've been siphoning money to, allegedly. Don't want to get yeeted again. Seriously, someone went out and did this.
Oh my god, yeah. That's dedication. That's a lot of dedication to a meme.
These folks on Twitter, they're like, "Oh my, I love Bernie. I love Bernie. He's so great." I'm like, Bernie's great to make fun of and laugh at, kind of like Larry David, because they're basically the same person.
Right.
But his politics are utterly destructive and evil, and he's dumb. He's quite stupid. He's a kook, right? And I know I want to go live off in the mountains and breakaway societies and all that, so I'm a kook too. But you know, at least I can judge things properly. That's all I have to say. Oh. And here we have the Lincoln Project casting couch.
Ooh, ooh.
And old Biden had to give him a sniff, of course.
The merging of these two memes is pretty good.
Yeah. So here's something I like to bring up from time to time, because I'm actually a bit of a fan of Malcolm X. I'm not into the whole Muslim thing per se, but hey, Malcolm X was actually not the evil villain that the media made him out to be. He actually had some pretty good ideas, I think, about, certain folk taking care of themselves and having their own lives and not trusting the liberal media or liberals in general, or well, I should say leftists, but whatever. It says the media is most powerful. The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. And that's power because they control the minds of the masses. The press is so powerful in its image making role. It can make the criminal look like he's the victim and make the victim look like he's the criminal. If you aren't careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. And of course, we know he's been dead for quite a long time.
Yeah.
A bit of a prophet, if you would. He seemed to understand things quite clearly. And I encourage anyone to go read up on Malcolm X, watch his old interviews. You'd be quite surprised. You'd be quite surprised what you've learned about him is probably totally wrong, because what we did instead is we lionize Martin Luther King. And don't get me wrong, I'm not Rebecca. I don't hate Martin Luther King. I think his movement was good as well, and especially the fact that it was peaceful. In fact, Malcolm X, I think in his early days might have had some violent stuff, but he was largely about peacefully separating. He wanted the divorce, if you would. So, and we're just going to paint a cold little Bernie right here. Give him some happy little mittens. Oh, Bob Ross, man. When that was on Netflix, it came out on Netflix a few years back. I started watching it. I was like,
Mhm.
man, this is like when I was in school and I was sick in bed. And
Oh my god! So my wife, on several occasions, puts on Netflix. They have the fireplace for your home. Have you seen this thing? It's what people used to watch at like Christmas time. Like a dude put a video camera in front of his fireplace and just burns a fire. You can hear the fire pop and crackle. She'll turn that on when she's like doing chores.
Really?
Yeah, and and there's like a new version. There's like the Birchwood edition or whatever, and she loves it. I'm like, we should just get a fireplace. She's
I
like,
could
no,
see
this is
that.
fine.
I could see that like going to bed or something. But
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Although I always have to have something on in the background
Yeah.
myself because, excuse me, because I can't deal with I can't deal when things are too quiet. And in society, things get too quiet when you're in your little bubble. Which is why nature is awesome because you get to hear everything, you adjust to it, and it's actually soothing and relaxing until the roosters wake you up in the morning. Because man,
Oh my god.
those SOBs. All right, already. I skipped that one earlier. Again, guys, no organization today. Thanks, by the way, for watching. I just checked the live chat, see there's a little bit there, but thank you all for watching with this very chill stream tonight because again, I have some stuff to do. I'll be out of town. No streams for 2 weeks. We'll be back on the 17th though with Don from Plebeian Media once again. The 24th, I have our friends from the Weekly Narrative, Jeremy and Delaney, coming back, and we are going to try to make it a monthly thing. I might do that with Don as well. We'll see how that plays out. And then also on the 3rd, I'm working. I don't know for sure yet because I haven't heard from his press secretary, but we will have Adam Kolkech on at some point in the future because he told me, yeah, man, let's do it. Get with my press secretary. Okay. So here we have Joseph Stalin. I deleted 20 million people the other day. Much like Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. New Facebook currently accounts for 94% of all online child abuse reports, according to the U.S. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Interesting. Women behind Bernie Sanders icon Mitten quit making them because high taxes killed her business.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the irony. We'll play again tomorrow. All the little soldiers.
Oh no. It's coming.
G Prime 85. What it was the last time I had one of these, I said G Morgan Prime. I'm mixing up G Morgan Jr. from Crowder with G Prime 85. Whatever's going on in my head. What were you gonna say there, Tank? I'm sorry, man.
No, I was just saying get ready because like Jeremy from Weekly Narrative said, you probably buy some stocks at Raytheon.
Oh yeah, well I have some stuff coming up about that as well. So here we have I'm starting to get the feeling that the Democratic Party used us. This is Black Lives Matter. And it's like duh,
bro.
duh. Yeah. You literally would have been better with Trump in.
Like, no shit. Yeah.
I mean, Biden is 1,000% corporatist. Trump might have been a bit, but I think he threw the little guy a bone a little every now and again, that kind of thing. Considering that the average household income went up by $5,000, where for the 16 years prior to that, it only went like 150, 200 bucks. That's insane, guys. It's insane. And that's not even accounting for inflation. I'm pretty sure that's not accounting for inflation, but those numbers are the real numbers, which we've covered before, we've talked about before. But here is how dumb these lefties are. All I have ever wanted from a yogurt is to know who the cows are. And it's a bunch of female names. So Dum Dum here said, notice how they named all the cows traditional girl names. There is a deep connection between misogyny and consuming animals. Okay. Okay, crazy. I feel like yogurt from a bull wouldn't taste quite right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyways, from Elijah Schaefer, so far under Biden, ISIS miraculously appears again. We are back to sending military convoys to the Middle East. Drug prices were raised for the most vulnerable. Energy prices rose, some of the highest COVID death rates. Thousands of union jobs killed, and it's only day 5.
Whew.
I tried to warn you all, but I have 104 subs over on All Minus One. We're at 107 over here, so you guys gotta you gotta help out, man. You gotta share these things. You gotta say, hey, man, hey, buddy, have you checked out this podcast? And I know there's a lot of good content out there because I absorb a lot of it myself, but you gotta prop up the voices that are saying, watch out, be careful, look what's coming. I brought this up the other week in conjunction with AOC, but I thought we should do it again. It is usually futile to try and talk facts and analysis to people who are enjoying a sense of moral superiority in their ignorance. That's old Tommy Sowell, and he's a brilliant guy. So
he's almost as old as Bernie Sanders now,
and yet way more articulate and intelligent. And understands basic economics, which, by the way, if you get a copy of, I have a copy of Basic Economics. It's a thick book.
Yeah. Doesn't seem very basic.
Yeah, it is. It just has a lot of information in it. My biggest fear of a Biden presidency was foreign policy. In just 3 days, and he's authorizing troop escalation in Iraq and Syria, which I told every single one of you it would happen. I did not vote for this. Did you? Excuse me. Has corporate media mentioned this? Is your rep funded by the MIC like mine? Look,
if you voted for Biden, you voted for this.
I almost wanted to bring up the Naomi Wolf tweet where she was like, I didn't know Biden was for more lockdowns. I wouldn't have voted for him then. It's like, you stupid person. Why are you allowed to vote? You shouldn't be voting if you don't know. I hate this idea of everyone gets to vote. It would be cool if people were responsible and were like, I'm going to inform myself of what actually goes on in the world. But they don't. So, anyways. Sorry. I hate the pushing of vote because I know that is, Tim Pool talks about all the time. That is what the Democrats look for. Low information voters.
Bill gets a couple beers at him on stream. He starts going crazy about
universal
suffrage.
Trust me, my liver is far, far more efficient than 1.5 beers.
Gets a beer at him. He's wanting to bring back the monarchy.
No monarchy. I'm a minarchist. I want community governments, and hey, if you want to leave, that's fine. Because back in the day, we used to exile people, and there was a reason for that, or let them leave, right? Let them go. Like these contracts where I'm going to force you to stay. You got to stay here and give me your money, or I'm going to stick a gun in your face or throw you into prison. Yeah, I don't like
I'll eat your ass.
Right. So is it true that Biden is not raising minimum wage to $15 till 2025 and no stimulus checks till the end of February? Why did we vote for this?
Because the media told you to.
Because you're an idiot. By the way, Mr. Ivan, Black Lives Matter. Ivan Rose, Black Lives Matter. You're also an idiot for wanting minimum wage risen. You should want inflation cut. You should want the printing of money to stop. You should want to get off the fiat currency because you are going to price out low-skilled workers. Some of those workers, those people that you think are special and get special privileges and special rights, because they're part of a certain ethnic group. And if you listen to Thomas Sowell, you would know that. Breaking union leaders have been calling Biden like crazy. Wall, pipelines, gas, coal, etc. All of these work sites are closing on a daily basis thanks to his EOs. That's executive orders, if you guys couldn't figure that out. They're being told to call back in a few weeks. Some calls aren't even answers, says White House officials. That's Jack Posobiec. Yeah. And again, I told you so.
Mm.
I actually don't want to be right, but hey, whatever. Uh-oh, here we go again. Trump further diminished the U.S. in the eyes of the world by expanding his travel ban. This new African ban is designed to make it harder for black and brown people to migrate to the United States. It's a disgrace, and we cannot let him succeed. I just want to know why all these ethnic groups, by the way, the multiple myriad of ethnic groups, there are more differentiation of phenotypes within Africa, any other continent. Why are they all delineated down to the color of their skin, black and brown? I just don't get it. Muslims are not a monolith, guys. If you're talking about the brown folk, and there are also Christians in Africa, believe it or not, in the northern parts of Africa. You know, the pygmies of Africa, certain tribes, are not the same as the Maasai, which are like super tall and skinny and lean. Very, very different heredity. So that's all I'm saying. I don't know why. This is what Marxists do, though, right? Just in, Biden is expected to impose travel ban Monday for most non-U.S. citizens traveling from South Africa. Two White House officials say Biden is also expected to reinstate restrictions affecting travel from UK, Ireland, and parts of Europe. So, yeah, Trump is racist when he did this. We got to get away from the xenophobia of Trump. All right.
Well, now, hold on.
No, go to Chinatown, Tank. Go to Chinatown and hug a Chinese person.
South Africa, UK, Ireland. Those are all white countries. So, you know, if he I don't know. I don't know how white
South Africa is genociding the white people. This is true. They are. It's legal there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think who Michael Malice had what is her name? The chick that did the document, Lauren Southern on. I didn't watch it, but I saw that. I thought it was pretty interesting.
How dare you not know the name of the beautiful Lauren Southern?
Lauren Southern catches a lot of shit from people because they're like, "Oh my god, her voice is too deep." I'm gonna go on record, guys. I like a girl with a deep voice. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But women with like husky voices that sound like they smoke a pack a day, that gets me. It gets me every time.
The only thing I ever had a problem with her, she's got a little bit of a tongue tie or lisp. It's not.
She does, yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Used to drive me nuts, but I'm like, I like staring at you though, so
yeah.
I'm okay. I can get over it.
Well, she's Canadian. That might just be how she talks.
What's that all about?
What's that all about?
Eh? Man, my Canadian friends, it's funny. When I go up there and all of a sudden out of nowhere, they say a boot or a, and I'm just like, oh, the stereotypes are real. So, pharma, Biden freezes Trump's lower cost insulin and epinephrine rule. The sick people who voted for Biden will die because of it. A little spicy there. A little spicy. Vice President Harris has nothing on her schedule today or tomorrow, while President Biden only meets with advisors until this afternoon, before nothing until Monday. Looks much like the campaign, but these are actually days 3 and 4 on the job. What'd you expect, guys?
I mean, yeah.
And the media won't talk about this. They used to, before George W. Bush, don't get me wrong, I don't like Bush, but before GW went and did the whole 9/11 thing, or he didn't do it, but those people that did do it, he was golfing a lot, and the media was like, why is he golfing so much? He's golfing, he's not doing anything. And he was actually being a pretty good laissez-faire president. much like my favorite president, Calvin Coolidge. But they won't cover this about Biden. They'll just be like, oh, everything he's doing is great, blah, 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 blah. Even though he stopped the pipeline, which is going to destroy our energy independence. So like I said, we'll be back in the Paris Climate Accord. We'll be back in the Iran deal. Don't be surprised if NAFTA doesn't come back. Because NAFTA is part of a bigger thing about the NGOs in the New World Order, if you would, the globalization of the world and the erosion of the sovereign state. And here's what they do to men today. Consumers, Pergers, Manlet, Keck, Boomer, MGTOW, E-Girl, Twitch, Incel, Chad, SJW, Simp, so forth and so forth. And Soy Boy, Big, what's it? Chuggus. Oh yeah,
Big Chuggus.
Big Chuggus is awesome. So what? We can't make fun of that. Come on. Reddit, OnlyFans, NoFap, Alpha, Thought, Tradwife. Tradwives are awesome, and so are alpha males. So whatever. Like, you know what happens amongst chimpanzees when an alpha male is a jerk? The other chimpanzees, they conspire and they beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
But I want you to realize that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is man, and the head of Christ is God. That, my friends, you might have heard of that. It's from this little book called the Bible. Literally means the book, but you know, it's the inspired word of God, the proper order of things. And I just like this. I figured you'd like this because it's orthodox. It's pretty based. This is how I see my future. I don't know if my wife will spit out that many sons, but by the way, we found out this weekend. Actually, tomorrow she has her appointment, but I'm not allowed to know until Saturday.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Well, look, you could become an Orthodox priest, and that could be you right there with the dope fireplace.
I mean, the way things are going, I don't want to deal with the oligarchy, but I might move to Russia. Georgia's pretty cool, from what I understand. Not the state, the country. Our mask won't work unless you wear yours too. Mm-hmm. Every day since Election Day, I regret voting for Biden more and more. Like, I genuinely feel sick to my stomach about it. The more and more I learn about politics, the way this country works, the more I wish I hadn't voted at all. Thank you. Thank you, moron. Thank you for realizing, having a moment of clarity and realizing you should not be voting. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Leave that to the people who understand what's going on. I did see a follow-up on this tweet because a lot of people were passing it around, and the person was like, flip it out and be like, I wouldn't have voted for Trump either. And it's like, okay, well, that's because you're dumb. You didn't know anything about politics. You just stated you didn't know anything about politics, and you wouldn't vote for Trump because why? He's a white, racist, male part of the patriarchy. That stuff, right? Dr. Anthony Fauci, highest paid employee in the entire federal government.
Hey,
did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's making like $450,000 a year, 430, something around there.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah. I like how he's not wearing his mask either. I love his pick. Hey, slow the spread. 1 in 5 Americans have sexually transmitted diseases. New federal data shows that an estimated 1 in 5 people in the United States have had a sexually transmitted disease on any given day, and half of them are in people under the age of 24.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I used to be a man whore. I don't do that anymore. Obviously, I'm a married man. I took a time off, no fap, celibate, all that stuff. Got my head straight, changed my ways. I'm no Roosh. But yeah, I was a bit of a ladies' man, and I wasn't when I was younger. That was after my first wife nearly destroyed me. And what can I say other than this is just degeneracy that's destroying our culture? Like women, you need to understand you have more value than being, a sexual object. I'm pretty sure the feminists tell you that, or they used to, but now what they're telling you is, oh no, you need to be a slut. Being a slut's awesome, right? Start waking up, folks. My job has been furloughed since lockdowns began in March of 2020. But don't worry, Democrats are impeaching a president who isn't president anymore. Yeah. Cats and dogs may need COVID vaccine to curb spread, scientists say.
No, I'm not getting my dog a COVID vaccine.
I'm not getting one myself either. So, breastfeeding isn't natural and makes moms anti-vaxxers.
What the fuck?
And one of let's enlarge this. In one of medicine's more extraordinary statements, the American Academy of Pediatrics is telling health professionals stop describing breastfeeding as natural. It could lead parents down the path of alternative medicine, homeschooling, and becoming anti-vaccination. God forbid you are responsible and don't obfuscate your duty to your children, to your progeny, and instead allow the world to take care and raise them for you. God forbid you don't outsource your responsibilities to society, which is wicked and evil. But these are the experts, right, Tank? I know how you love experts.
I love them. Hell yeah. Good people.
Mm-hmm. Covering up the camera could damage your laptop. Nice try, Fed. When you avoid identity politics by eliminating all other identities.
Hey.
And that's guys, that is what communism, socialism, all that's about, really, in the end, is about slavery. If you are part of the collective, you are not an individual. That makes you a slave. If you do not own property, you are a slave. If you basically must do things or be forced into the gulag or at the point of a gun, you are a slave. And that's the end of that soapbox. PolitiFact, CNN, MSNBC, WAPO, New York Times, Salon, Vox, HuffPo, Biden's first week. You crazy conspiracy theorists, that term was created by the CIA as well. Sure, the CIA may have done horrible, illegal things in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s, and all of the 2000s, but nobody was ever prosecuted. And there were no reforms. So quit believing crazy conspiracy theories. I wonder what the redacted parts say.
That would be nice to know.
So my video that was yeeted on YouTube, but you can still find on Rumble and PeerTube. Also on my locals, because I believe I uploaded the PeerTube or linked the PeerTube over there on my locals page. Media blackout. Italian bars and restaurants disobey rules and open together in civil disobedience. And I don't know if it's a blackout, but not many outlets are covering it. I've seen it in Breitbart. Again, I did a whole video on it yesterday with some other stuff because people are rising up around the world. You're not hearing about it because, of course, you need to be gaslighted and controlled here in the U.S. And there's a sad, sad thing when the United States, which was once a rebellious, liberty-minded, very much pull yourself up by the bootstraps, rugged individuality nation, is listening to the experts. I should have said are, not is. Pardon my English, folks. This is a very highbrow show. Mike Lindell account suspended. They got the MyPillow guy. They got him.
R.I.P.
Yeeted. You shall all one day be yeeted. Gas station dill pickles, COVID-19 vaccine.
Dill pickles?
Don't say that too loud. My wife will run up here. Man. Oh, I meant to cut this, but no biggie. Honey, I'm trying to understand Biden's new vaccine rollout. What is femboy and where is my bussy?
Hell yeah.
God is real. F off. How can you believe? How can I believe you if you don't have any physical proof? I'm actually a woman. So true. Absolutely the collapse of society. Go listen to some of Camille Paglia's lectures on this. Quite a brilliant woman. Anyways, corrupt scientists help the tobacco industry. Corrupt scientists help the plastic industry. Corrupt scientists help the fossil fuel industry. No, of course, the government would never hire scientists to push fake evidence. Scientists have too much integrity. And folks, scientists are just people, and they are motivated by the same things as all people. And power and prestige and wealth and all that good stuff does always corrupt. Have you heard about the double masking? America, I'm already wearing a mask. Fauci, one mask, yes. But what about second mask?
I saw a guy double masking today.
They're literally, I think MSN was putting out like wearing triple masks.
Go 4. Hell. Keep going. Why stop at 3?
I just so want to live in a county where no one else lives. Like 2 counties down from me, there's like, what is it? Is it like 15,000? I think there's 15,000 people in the entire county. Hi, neighbor. Did you hear that Dr. Fauci is now recommending? Oakley dokley. Canadian Holocaust Museum sign. The best way to take control over people is to erode their freedom a bit each day. 1,000 almost appreciable reductions. This way, they won't see those freedoms being removed until past the point where it can't be reversed. That is little mustache guy.
Oh,
and yeah, the boiling frog effect, right? So, guys, if you want to be a boss with women, take this advice. How to destroy a good relationship, a hard lesson for men. In any intimate relationship or marriage, when the woman is forced to make decisions, take the initiative, give permission, or contain her emotions to make the man feel better, she is being forced into the masculine role. She doesn't want this, nor will she like it. That's your role. Anytime you force a woman into a masculine role because you're not playing it, she will always, without exception, become irritable, bitchy, and close off sexually. This is her expressing hurt because you're not stepping up. If at this point you don't realize what's happening, you will naturally double down on this private subvert behavior, thinking it will make her happy instead of taking corrective measures. And it's going to be bad. If you're not playing your role correctly, it's only a matter of time. The clock is ticking towards total resentment or destruction of the relationship. And that's from Proud Masculinity. I can tell you, I got a lot of experience with women. That is absolutely true. In fact, that is why all my prior relationships more or less failed, because I wasn't being man enough. Had to learn that. Had to learn it the hard way. You do not need to learn that the hard way. Go out and be a man. Don't listen to what the feminists tell you. Don't listen to what women tell you either. They don't know what they want. And here is actually someone replying, talking to this. This is basically describes my last relationship failed. He could not for the life of him step up or support me, blah, 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 blah. And I've seen this time and time again. I've talked to guys. It really breaks my heart. Because they're like, I did everything for my girlfriend. I raised her children who weren't mine, and I gave her everything, and I worked my butt off, and she cheated on me. And it's like, yeah, she doesn't respect you, dude. She doesn't respect you. That's how Tank gets girls. He flicks bottle caps.
Hell yeah. My house.
Oh, I didn't end up cutting this either, but yeah, this is from Cindy Watson here, who's a YouTuber. She does pretty decent content. I like her. Says, I've told you the story of how I got someone blacklisted from ever registering at any university in SA, that's South Africa, until he killed himself, all because he wrote a homophobic Facebook status. I do it all over again without even flinching. You don't get to make my existence a living hell and expect me to be civil. You will die.
What the fuck?
Dark souls, my friend.
Huh.
That is the dark black heart of these kind of folk. And yeah, harass someone until they kill themselves. And they're the bad person because they put something on Facebook you thought was homophobic.
So this guy, so yeah, let's the guy put something homophobic on Facebook, and that one post make this guy's life a living hell. That seems a little bit over the top.
These are the people though who are running things right now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
These people don't care about you, bro.
From Carlin Born Cinco, who I also enjoy her content. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court isn't presiding over the impeachment trial, it's literally not constitutional.
Why are they trying to impeach this guy after he's out of office?
Because they want to send a message and they want to ensure that he can not run again.
Are they that scared that they can't rig another election against him or something?
People keep talking about it's fear. I don't think it's fear at all. I think it's insurance. These people aren't scared at all. You think that, Hillary Clinton is scared in any way, shape, or form? She's part of the royalty of the globalists. Like, she's not afraid of you, and neither is Joe Biden or anyone else. They didn't expect Trump to get in, and they know that look, this push forward, a lot of people are scared right now, right? Reasonably so. But this push forward that they're going after, it will be held up to some degree, right? There's going to be debates. There's going to be some people who in Congress and Senate who don't go along with it. There'll be court stuff. It won't all happen overnight, but it will erode away probably in the next 8 years. I mean, it's what I've been saying, right? It's my prediction. 2 administrations. Biden has said from the beginning he's only going to be a one-term president if he even makes it the full term.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is Kamala Harris the next president, or will Trump try and run again, or somebody who is Trump-esque? And that has been a question for a while too, is who would come in and continue the Trump era, who could pick up his, pick up the load and carry it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a question with a lot of people for a long time. And then finally, last one, Tank. I know it's been a long meme cast, but hey, I'm going an hour and 15 minutes on this one, man. But hey, it's a chillax stream today. Chillax stream. So $8 an hour, $30 an hour, $100 an hour, and priceless.
I know that girl at the top left is pretty hot though.
Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty attractive ladies. I'd say that
they're all hot.
The one with the baby, and you're right, the top left.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, go ahead and play that Memecast news sounder, bud.
Memes.
We got somebody. We got one or two people in there just hanging in there watching us live tonight. So thank you guys. Oh, we got 5 likes. Wow. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
People came by to be nice. Hey guys, if you are having fun with the show, today's a chill stream, meant to be a chill stream. Because we're about to go on vacation, or I am. It's going to be a vacation for Tank's wife because she gets mad that we stream too much. In any case, like, share, all that stuff. Help us grow. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Go down, check out the links. There are ways to donate if you are so inclined. I'm not begging for your money. Tank has a day job, but I do not because I was going to school and the coof kind of screwed that up. But I would appreciate any donations if you can. Again, you don't have to. We used to get stuff on DLive, but we don't know what any of that means. And now DLive is doing this whole thing because, well, people got uppity about the alt-right being on DLive. But you can go over to Entropy and donate directly there. And all those links are in the description. So, Tank, I've talked quite a bit tonight already. You've been quite quiet. You have anything to say, man?
Yeah, I don't like I said, we were talking before the stream. This whole month, I've just been kind of checked out of politics. It might be a natural defense mechanism because it looks like everything up there is going to shit. But man, I've kind of taken this time to focus on some other stuff and remind myself that I'm human and not some amoeba that needs to just sit around and study this shit. Because, like I said, guys, I'm no black pills, guys. It's going to be all right. You're probably going to be all right. It's going to get shitty, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see. But I don't know. Like I just don't, I just don't want to sit around and get all woe is me about the situation. I think it's for the better. Well, so sorry, but the more black pilled you get, I feel like the more desperate you're going to get, right? And exactly. I think a lot of these Republicans that are, you don't want to vote for them, but you will vote for them because you're scared. That's what they want to keep. That's what they want to keep in you, right? So don't be scared. I'm not saying you need to like worship rationality or anything. I'm not that kind of person, but do what you can to have a clear vision of reality without being black-pilled, and then just go from there. You don't need Lindsey Graham. Fuck him. You don't need those people. You need your bros. You need your family. You need a good time. You need some cold beer, and you'll be all right.
Well, fear is unproductive.
Right.
Fear is only a means to alert you of danger. And after that, it's completely unproductive. And if you're truly a masculine man, don't get me wrong, it takes a while to grow into your manhood for most people, right? You're not going to reach that when you're 18. You're still a confused kid. You're an adult, in my opinion, because, well, you've been an adult, a very young adult in training since you could make a baby. So that's why in ancient religions and cultures, they've always had a rite of passage for men. And it's always in the early teens, usually between 13 and 16. The Mexicans have their their quinceañeras, or what are they called? You speak Spanish, right?
Yeah, quinceañera.
Quinceañera. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, the Jews have their bar mitzvahs or ba mitzvahs. So those kind of things. But tribal peoples, they all have this. Women have their own rite of passage. We're getting into anthropology here, right? But they have their own rite of passage in a way through menstruation. Men need something else to join that group of manhood. And we have a crisis of masculinity going on in the Western world today. And a lot of people talk about it, but very few are doing anything about it. And the first place you got to start is with yourself and get your head straight and go do manly things. And one of those things is don't be afraid. Be a man of action and take a plan of action. See the world for what it is, not for all of its dangers. This is some of the stuff I wanted to get into with Rebecca when we had her on Saturday, but unfortunately, she came in late. We had scheduling conflict issue that she didn't realize. She wrote down the wrong time, and she of course had to go because of breastfeeding. But I was accommodating that. I mean, she's a mother, and she's still breastfeeding, and she still has a baby under the age of 1. So got to take care of that. That's the most important time of life, folks, for all of your children is from the day that they are born until they're about 4 or 5 years old. That's where the socialization comes in. One of the things that happens when we have feral children, we find them, if they're a certain age, they will never, ever learn to speak. That part of their brain atrophies. There are certain skills that people will never develop if not developed properly when they're young. There's a process, the way that we are formed as children, that we can control of our bodies. It's cephalocaudal and proximal distal. So that meaning from the head in the spine outward, proximal distal meaning from the center outward. And the first thing that we start to do, we have horrible motor control of our arms and legs, but we can turn our heads. And as we turn our heads, then we learn to roll, and we slowly build control in our arms and legs. But as far as like finger dexterity, that comes when you're much older. And all that develops with rough, rugged play and not the Nerf world. And we live in a Nerf world. And society is wicked and decadent. It is pure evil. It makes us soft and turns us into psychopaths. And, one of my favorite movies, probably my favorite movie of all time, is Conan the Barbarian. And his compadre in the movie, his first friend he meets, Subutai, he takes him to civilization. And he's like, have you ever seen this before? And Conan's like, no. And he's like, civilization. He's like wicked and evil or something, whatever he says. Or sorry, ancient and wicked. And Conan's walking through the town in this primitive world. And he's like, how does the wind get in here? It stinks. Stuff like that. Subutai, Conan's eating like street food. Like, by the way, folks, fast food has always existed. There's always been street food. So it's just the way that it's cooked. And first thing Subutai tells me, he goes, you don't know how long that's been there. I wouldn't eat that. And this is what living in a city does to us, right? It makes us not concerned with all of these things. It disconnects us from each other, which is weird because it's this inverse relationship where we don't understand that when we're closer together, we actually become more disconnected. And when we have more space and we're further apart, we actually tend to get along with our neighbor and know them on a more personal level. So it's this weird paradox, but it makes us psychopathic because we then get specialized. We see the resources dwindle down instead of us going out in the land, understanding how things are. It's like, I forget who the journalist was some years ago that tweeted as he was flying over top the countryside, looking at the lines in the ground, and he tweeted this picture and was like, what is all this? What is it? This is weird. Why does the ground look like this? And they're like, it's farms, dummy. Where you get your food from. So we need to be rooted and connected to our natural state in some way or another. Let's see. Mr. Joshua Ham just commented, my son is 7 months and it is amazing to watch the development. Amen, brother. I mean, I have a 16-year-old and I remember my favorite years of her when she was young. So, it says, even though he's number 3, and it makes sure that my boys are able to enjoy wrestling with me. It's super important. Super important. I used to roughhouse with my stepkids, with my daughter. My daughter, when she was like 4, she would just run up and be like, let's play daddy fight. Be like, bah! And man, for a little tiny thing, man, she got a good old freaking cross there. Good vertical fist. Boom. Right in there. Nice and solid. Hit me in the gut back when I had a 6-pack. I'm close. I just drank too much. So, I mean, I don't have a beer belly or anything. You just can't see the definition. That's all. Sup with the glasses tonight, Bill? That's my old lady. I'm Johnny Silverhand. I know my hair isn't long enough yet, but it'll be there eventually. I'm waiting for my buddy Greg when I go to do this training. Last time I hung out with him, stayed at his house. I had long hair, and he's like, John Wick. He's like, John Wick is here. He's training some student of his. He's like, you watch out for him. Anyways, so what do you think about some of those things I talked about there with society and all that there, Tank?
I mean, yeah, I've said this, 100,000 times, right?
Uncle Ted.
That Ted Kaczynski was pretty on point with his critiques of modern society. But to kind of take it away from just industrial society, modernity is it's something. It's new. I mean, really, like it's. I don't know where you want to draw the line at modernity, but I would say the war period, World War I, World War II, is kind of where I look at it. And ever since then, society has changed a lot. And of course, we talked about consumerism and how that plays a big role. And I think that's probably one of the major blights on society is our need to constantly consume stuff. Because like we're filling this void, right? Everyone has their void that I need to buy these things so I can have this stuff. I need a bigger TV. Well, why do you need a bigger TV? Oh, because so I can watch stuff. Well, why you spend all your fucking time watching TV? You don't have bros to hang out with. Like there's 100,000 things you could be doing better than watching something on your giant ass TV. And that's not a huge hit. I like shit. I like technology and stuff. I've got video games. I'm very much a product of what I'm criticizing as well. It's not beyond what I'm saying, but it's something that's gotten so ingrained in us that we don't think about it anymore. I can't remember where I read it, but there was this this article criticizing the man cave, because a lot of guys are like, oh, I want to get my man cave, and they're cool. I'm not hating on the man cave. I get it. But they're like, you don't need a cave where you go and seclude yourself and surround yourself by all these consumer products that you've bought, to give your life this sort of creature comfort. You need to be out. You need to be doing things. You need to be, the world is your man cave, I guess, is a way to make it a little easier to understand here. But it's something dudes do. Like, we're just as guilty as women are in terms of our consumer habits. So it's we're in a very precarious predicament. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I was thinking about this. It's been heavy on my heart. And for a lot of people coming into the new year after the election, there's a lot of stuff that was overwhelming, like you were saying earlier. And for me, some of the burden is my concern with family members, actually. So it breaks my heart that certain people are blind to the world and their own actions and would perceive me as, kind of like a crazy person or something. Sorry, I kicked over a box I had there. New bolt carrier group. I got to mail out for this this brace I'm getting. But anyways, yeah, like the constant inundation of information, the constant inundation of products, the new thing that's coming out, the old boob tube, if you would. And again, I'm not trying to be hypocritical here, guys. I am a person who absorbs a lot of media content every day, like 8 to 12 hours worth, maybe even more, because I don't necessarily sleep a lot unless I drink a lot of beer. And I mean, I just don't. I'm a short sleeper. I sleep like 5-6 hours, and I'm up, and I don't sleep heavy, and I'm usually up pretty late, and it's a pain in the butt, but it's life. It's my life. But yeah, I've changed so much over the years, and that I think once I started getting my faith really straight, I realized how consumeristic I'd been, how hedonistic I had been, how irresponsible I had been. And it's hard too, once you ingrain those habits, to turn them around. Once you start going down this path, it's hard to switch that off. You're going to slip up and fall back into those patterns on occasion. And this is the importance of the male leadership in all this, is that when we are with our children, we have to educate them. I remember sitting down with my daughter, and I mean, all the time I do, but and just talking to her, having hangout time, dad time. We know this is important because she's at that age where we can do that. And when I always try to impart to her is, instead of being as my parents were, who were pretty good parents, but they had their faults. But instead of being like, I'm never going to talk about my sins or my faults or the wrong things that I did, I'm just going to kind of do this and that, and then tell you that you have to do better. And we hold you this standard. I kind of grew up in a very kind of almost authoritarian home. It wasn't terrible, but there were a lot of rules, and I'm much more libertarian. So with my daughter, I'm like, learn from my mistakes so you don't have to go through the heartaches, so you don't have to go through the struggles, so you don't have to go through all these things. And that's a much more powerful message, in my opinion, because I'm being real with her. I'm leveling with her like I would anyone else, like I do on the stream. To all of you listening, the few of you watching tonight live, and whoever will watch later. By the way, guys, appreciate all the upvotes. It's the same thing I do on my channel on All Minus One when I'm making my independent content. I'm just trying to be real with folks. I'm trying to present you with information and be real. And I want to teach you how to fish, right? Because if you're not teaching someone how to fish and you're just giving them the fish every day, you know what you're doing? You're enslaving them. You're causing them to be need, or sorry, to need of you, to need your supervision, to need your care, to need this or that. And that doesn't build strong societies. Strong societies are built on people who can go do, who can go be independent, who go explore. And there's not a lot of that left anymore. And there was a ton of that at a certain age and period of time, just a few hundred years ago. And it's not, I don't know. It's partially been bred out of us. It's partially been brainwashed out of us. It's partially been taken over because commies have manifested so hardcore in our institutions. If you go read, I think it's Leon Skolson's book, The Naked Communist or The Naked Socialist, there are something like 55 points that were read on the House floor back in like the 1950s, late 1950s, 1970s or whatever, of this FBI agent who did an investigation of the communist active measures. And active measures are basically the subversion that Yuri Bezmenov talks about, right? Every single one of those points has pretty much been implemented in the United States. I did a video on that a long time ago about the communist subversion. In fact, it's probably my biggest video. It's my BLM video because it's on the end of it. And it's about infiltrating the academia. It's about encouraging homosexuality. It's about destroying Christianity. It's about promiscuous nature, feminism, which is just a female superiority thing. And by the way, folks, like, I might say misogynistic stuff. A lot of stuff I'm saying too, I say in jest, but you pick up the kernels of truth there. Men and women are complementary beings. We're not, there's not necessarily one superior to the other, but men are meant to lead. And Christ should lead you. But yeah, again, if you go through that list, it just talks about all these bullet points that the communists are trying to do. Infiltrate the radio, the newspapers, whatever, TV, academia, the government itself, the court system. It's done it. It's done it. And when we had Don on the other week, he talked about, well, if ideas could beat ideas, then communism wouldn't be an idea around. And, the one point I made to him was, but isn't that a problem of the human soul? Isn't that really what it's about? Because ideas do beat ideas. It's why we have people like you and I who understand that communism is a means to slavery and evil. But there are so many other folks who've never really delved into it, thought it through, or their greedy souls want the power and authority. So anyways, go for it, man.
No, I mean, we're kind of just, rehashing the greatest hits here.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Hey, man, you got a message? You're going to be a broken record, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the shitty thing about it is, the alternative microphone is so quiet that you don't get to hear this. But kind of what you're talking about before, mine and your generation, we're relatively the same age. We're both around 75. You know, for me, growing up, I had a dad, and he was a good dad. I'm not holding anything against him, but he did give me a lot of bad advice because we kind of came up in a generational change that I don't think a lot of people our parents' age expected. So like my dad in my hometown, they come from the kind of place where you graduate high school and go to work at somewhere locally and you work there until you die and that's it. Like he did. He actually went to work for himself, later in life and hasn't had a boss in a long time, but he kind of lucked into that. So for me growing up, I was always told, you're not going to go to college. You don't need to because you're going to graduate high school and you're going to get a good job. And, that's just going to be it. And that's not really the case for us, for our generation. So, and like I said, it's not a slight on them, but they did the best they could, but they were not prepared for this, the amount of societal collapse that we're facing now. And that's unfortunate. It had been, I think that's why a lot of guys more are turning towards like your Jordan Peterson types and stuff, because they kind of feel like, oh, I didn't really get everything I should have got growing up. I know I did. And I know, for me being like 20 to me being, my age now, I look at things completely different than I used to.
Yeah, you grew up.
Yeah, yeah. But I had to grow up the hard way. And
that's because our society
yeah,
is
yeah,
collapsing. It's
yeah.
screwed.
Part of that's absolutely my fault, and part of that is I was kind of given some bad intel, in some of my formative years. I mean, this isn't to just trash on boomers, but I do feel like we should trash on boomers on occasion. And it's something we're going to have to get. It's going to fall on our shoulders to reclaim the thing, to raise our children and say, look, bro, this is how shit's going to be. You may very well have it worse than I do or than I did. Because if I just would have heard that at like 15, 16, 17, 18, if my dad would have said, hey, instead of saying, hey, if you just work hard and you go to and you finish high school and you get a good job in the area, you're going to have as good as I do. If he would have said, hey, there's some shit's coming over the mountain and you may very well have it worse than I do, that would have really like stuck with me. But he did what he could. But I think that's something we have to take into consideration now, right? Like my kid's like, bro, you're going to be a white man growing up in the world.
I think that all generations need to take it into consideration in a lot of ways. I think that a lot of the problems with, like, say, the boomers or the silent generation before them is they wanted to be able to give luxury to their children, and what their luxury was back then isn't maybe what we would consider it today, but still an easier life. And that's the wrong path, actually. That's the path to communism. Mm-hmm. Because that easier life actually brings about a harder life. It's the hard life, it's the hard work that brings about the easier life. As Jocko Willink says in his book titled Discipline Equals Freedom, there's all these paradoxical things that we have that seem strange or untrue. But as you grow and experience the world, you find that they are very true. Joshua said here in the thing, he was talking about girls, and girls are different. You can't be as aggressive with them. And I would agree. One of the things that we need to do as men, as fathers, is to instill the value that women's sexuality is precious, right? And this isn't like, I didn't get it, man. I was a heathen of a kid. I was doing stupid stuff. I was running around with girls. No, don't get me wrong. I actually was with very few women until I was with my first wife, because I was very kind of strict on like parameters if I was going to be sexual with somebody or not. I wasn't a man whore until, again, after the old first wife. But what I can tell you is that I didn't get it. I didn't get, oh, well, you know, you don't have sex before marriage because God says so. Yeah, that's a lame excuse. I'm too smart for that. You know, I might not be the most articulate guy, but my brain works pretty well. And I'm too smart to just be like, oh, okay, God said so. You
Yeah.
know, no, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. But with my daughter, I'll sit there and level with her and be like, well, look, here's the thing. You're you, and you can make these mistakes. But you have to realize that this thing that you have is very valuable. You know, women and children first, there's a reason for that. Women have, or you have twice as many female ancestors as you do male ancestors. Many men never got to procreate. Women have value because they can only make so many children. You only need one man to repopulate the world, but you need lots of women.
Mhm.
And the value of your sexuality, when you give it away, you end up degrading a part of your soul. And I learned this being someone who was dating maybe multiple women at a time, or you know, my soul was shaken. I was destroyed, and so I would have a girlfriend who I cared about and I loved and I wanted to be committed to, but the relationship was horrible and I wasn't being a man. And so then I would go, you know, go fool around with an ex girlfriend or something. Um, and guys, I'm saying this in honesty and truth, and admitting what my sins were, because we don't learn if we don't admit what our sins are. We don't turn from them. I'm not here to say I'm some angel even today. Um, but you know, I strive to be better, and I strive to be better than that guy that I was some years ago. And one of the things that I found out was, as I did these things, at first it really didn't sit well with me. It actually made me ill, like physically, whatever else. But over time, as I went further into the weeds with my evil, it was easy. And to this day, I have a certain amount of regret of being kind of promiscuous for a while, because I was never like that when I was younger, and now it seems easier. There's that taste of it, right? There's that taste of blood. There's that, you know, I don't want to go cheat on my wife or anything like that, nor would I ever. And I would probably, I mean, it would probably destroy my soul if I were to do such a thing. But you know, there's that thing in the back of my head. Oh, I've done it. And it's like I said, there's that possibility, not my wife, but just saying I've messed around on girls in the past, right? And this wasn't until I was like 30. So we're talking like a decade ago. But there's this thing. Once you get a taste of it, it becomes easier and easier and easier. You grease the groove, to quote Pavel Satsulin, who I have a picture back here with back when I was a kettlebell instructor. You grease the groove. And this is actually kind of how it works neurologically. You reinforce these neurons over and over again, and it's hard to allow them to die. And all of the ancient wisdom, whether we knew the science on it or not, says the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Read like Proverbs out of the Bible and how you should conduct yourself as a human being, and don't follow the wicked ways of the world, right?
Right. Joshua Ham just had a good comment here. Said, "I teach my kids that life only gets harder the older you get, but they become strong and capable, and those additional difficulties become less overwhelming." And this is, I think, I don't know how old Joshua Ham is, but this is the generational difference, I think, between like our parents and this, is that for our parents, they had it. I don't know if I want to say easier, but I think I have to say easier. In certain respects anyway. And there, you know, my dad's idea was, hey, dude, if you just work hard, then you're gonna get to one day, you're gonna get to retire, and you're gonna, you know, I don't know, do whatever, have a $50,000 camper, and you're gonna travel the country, you know, the kind of shit that my parents do now. That was never really in the cards for a lot of people in our generation. Um, so I think a lot of people do feel cheated. You know, I see a lot of guys that, you know, went to college, they worked their ass off, they thought they were doing the right thing, took out student loans because you have to have a good education to get anywhere in life. And their parents who didn't take out student loans or didn't even go to college at all, they have $50,000 campers that they travel the United States in, and these guys can barely afford the apartment they're living in. it's a shitty predicament. And like I said, like it's not their fault. It's, and like I said, it's not, I'm not pointing fingers, but it is a reality that I think our generation got some bad intel on how to cope with society. It is our job ultimately to overcome that. And I'm not saying that, you know, this is not a cop out on my part, but I do believe that a clear lens in reality is one of the best things you can have. And, you know, a lot of us are not going to have 4-bedroom houses and 2 acres of land and easy home payment. Some of us might be in tiny houses doing what we can just to have something.
You know what though? Your life will be more
Yeah,
meaningful,
for sure.
and so will your children's.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, is because that's what we were talking about at the beginning there. Society and materialism devalues the meaning of your life. Being sexually promiscuous devalues your meaning in life. Being evil to other people, I can tell you right
Mhm.
now, devalues your meaning in life. And it's this thing where societies before were like, oh, thank God I don't have to go to the outhouse. I can, like, for me, I can just walk right over here to a bathroom, like 5 feet away. My dad grew up, born in 54, grew up with an outhouse.
Mhm. My mom did. Yeah.
I'm talking about like
Mhm.
15, 20 miles up the road, not far from where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I actually um, had a family for a long time living in the old house he lived in growing up. One of them. My dad was very poor growing up. They had farm animals and whatever else. When I was a kid, though, my mom was a career woman. She was a corporate lady, kind of high up there. Never went to college or anything, but back in the days, you could do that. And we would get a lot of junk food and sweets and whatever else. I didn't eat right. I didn't know anything about any of that stuff until I was in my 20s. And that's what I'm saying, though, is we need to be better parents. We need to stop listening to the nonsense of the world. I would tell my dad for a long time in his 50s, he was gaining a lot of weight. And I was telling my dad, I said, Dad, you can't be eating this stuff you're eating. Oh, no, it's okay. Bodybuilders eat all these carbohydrates. And they're so healthy. And I'm like,
You're
dude,
not a
no, they're
bodybuilder,
not.
bro.
They're not at all. They're not healthy at all. Some of them are. Some of them do it right, but most of
Yeah.
them are just worried about putting on weight.
Mhm.
And he eventually went to the doctors, and the doctor said, well, I could diagnose you as pre-diabetic, but once I do that, you never lose that. So we're not going to do that. And his doctor was a pretty smart dude. He's like, what we're going to do is put you on a low carb diet and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden,
Just
something
like
clicked to
that,
my
yeah.
dad, and he realized, oh, my son knows what he's talking about.
Mhm.
And maybe, and part of this is the shaping of my personality and who I am, is that a lot of my family has just ignored things that I've said that were right. And it's like, you need to pay it. You can think whatever of me, but I'm right about a lot. My problem was when I was younger, because I'm a guy who really does need a woman in his life, is I allowed my passions to follow that. And growing up in a world of feminism and not having any proper instruction about how to act around women with women, right? I didn't know how to lead or be a man or do any of those things. I kind of understood some things intuitively, but it only takes one really messed up person to screw your whole life up, to screw your whole psychology up.
Mhm.
And like I said, though, this is the importance, though, of parenting, of telling our generation after generation, of passing down these messages. And there might be a time where there are these mega technocratic cities, and the folks like you and I are living out in the countryside in these very primitive type villages or whatever we're doing, and our children want to go into the cities, and we'll be like, "Hey, I told you not to do this." In fact, this is, like I said, I've been quietly. I've mentioned it once before, so I'll mention it again. I have this idea for this dystopian novel, and this is kind of part of the idea of it. Is one of the children, a child, wants to go into the city. They want to explore this life they've heard about and never seen, because it's the forbidden fruit, right? Once you can't have it, it becomes enticing, and we need to do a better job, I think, of explaining these things to our progenies And in that, we need to be honest with them. We cannot go, well, I know I was a man whore at some point in my life, but you need to be, on the straight and narrow. And don't get me wrong. I mean, most people actually do pair off very young. They don't have a lot of partners. I think the average is 3 to 4, um, in a lifetime. So, depending on where you live, I think it goes up to like 13 to 14 or so, which is still, I mean, it's kind of a lot, but it's not really like some folks, they said, I'm no Roosh, but, yeah, I can tell you another thing that Peterson said about that too is that like when you have a number of sexual partners over time that are interchangeable, you become one of those interchangeable throwaway sexual partners. And I actually had a girlfriend, one of the last serious relationships I had before I got myself straight. I saw a few girls after this, but the last thing that she told me, literally, last time I talked to her after I broke up with her, whatever else, we talked a few times after that, she told me she was really going to miss the sex. And I thought, well, gee, doesn't that sum up our 9-month-old relationship? That all I am to you was a good time in bed. That gives you some real self-esteem, folks. Gives you some real, and you could be like, oh, but Bill, every guy wants to hear that. Well, yeah, you're an immature guy. You're a little boy. Let me tell you, you're a boy. You're not a man. Because the sum of my parts are far more than something like that. And you can take pride in those things, but it's emptiness. It doesn't lead anywhere. Let's say we got a lot of stuff in the chat here. It says Josh is 37. So okay, so you're around both Tank. You're older than Tank, but younger than me. Tank's close though. He's creeping up.
Yeah, I'm moving up that way. Kind of to go back on what I was talking about before with the generational difference. Like I said, my mom grew up with she went to an outhouse for up until she was about a mid teenager or whatever. And I mean, I hate to put it this way, like I don't want to. This I'm really not trying to shit on my elders here, but but now she has a 2018 Honda Civic and a Keurig, and I feel like she's kind of lost her ways in a lot of ways, because I remember growing up hearing stories about how poor she was, about how I needed to be like, because she didn't even graduate high school, she didn't get her GED till she was like 28 or something, and she was like really big on education. She's like, look, you need to make sure you graduate high school, and there was a point in time where it looked like I wasn't going to because they thought I was retarded, which I am. But now it's like my parents are so obsessed with their a lot of their identity is wrapped up in the things they can buy now. Like, oh, we're going to get this, and we're going to buy a new car, and we've got this camper, we're going to buy another boat, and this sort of thing. And it's kind of sad for me to see because that's not something I want to pass on to my kids.
Right.
I don't want them to think like your happiness is going to come from material well-being. It's like you're probably better off shitting in the outhouse, in a lot of ways than you are, worried about the next thing you can buy.
Well, there are studies on this actually that suggest that experiences actually make people's life more fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
So going on a travels like you do,
Mm-hmm.
or like a training event, like I haven't been to one in a while, but like I'm about to do, those things make you more fulfilled. Those things give you more meaning. Of course, building, creating. Josh was talking about how he disciplines like his daughter or whatever else. A really interesting thing that you all should consider is the woman you are with, because often I will see this where they will sabotage everything that the man tries to do. And that is not a woman worth being with. And you need to get that out of her or get away from her. I mean, sometimes it's hard to figure out. We all get in a lot that we're in. I'm not telling anyone to divorce anybody or anything like that, or to not try and make it work if you have a child with somebody. What I'm saying though is that if you're in a relationship with a woman and you feel like she doesn't allow you to lead, she constantly fighting and bickering with you about stuff, she wants the power, it's always a power play, that's not a good relationship for you. I don't care if it's like the best sex of your life. That will not mean anything when you're completely miserable. I don't care if she's the most gorgeous woman you've ever seen. That will not mean anything when you're older, um, and when you're miserable. uh, it is best that, again, men step up and take charge. And this, so I mentioned this in Jeremy and Delaney's stream last night over at the Weekly Narrative. This is part of the and she sent them a super chat. This is part of the demoralization and indoctrination of the US. This is part of the infiltration. And guys, this goes way back over 100 years. From the very beginning, the Soviets were doing this. But those ideas, of course, have been there for a long time, too. They've always been there. I mean, Plato's Republic is a communist utopia. But the first thing that they could do, other than make racial issues, race wars, all that kind of stuff, the real big thing they could do was prop up female superiority. And I've said for many years, for a very long time, that feminism cannot possibly be about equality. That word is called egalitarianism. I consider myself an egalitarian. Now, does that mean I think that women should go and do everything that men do? No. But some women are going to be capable and can. You know, I'm not 100% guy. I see gray in the world. But what I do know is that by our nature, we are very distinct in that. And blurring those lines creates more problems than it does any sort of good. But feminism is labeled feminism because it's always about superiority. And the suffragettes in the beginning, they weren't called feminists. The first wave feminists, yeah, some of them use that terminology, but they mainly said, well, we are just wanting to be able to go out at night without having an escort. We want to be autonomous. Okay, cool. I mean, women have been autonomous for centuries throughout all kinds of cultures. But then you get the third wave. And I've taken college level sociology classes, I could tell you. They will teach you in the textbooks that it is like all about communism. It's all about female superiority. It's all about oppression of men, all that stuff. And so this is an easy way in because it's emotional toward women, right? It's an emotional appeal where women go, I have been oppressed. I do have an excuse why my life is not as good as it could be. And it's all a man's fault. And I made the joke with Rebecca on Saturday that that all women are evil. I don't think that at all, of course. But I hear this a lot out of women too. All men are evil. Well, yeah, you're all out there dating the 10% alpha chads, and they don't care about you because you're giving them free poon all the time. And why would they care? Because you're just being a slave to your passions and desires. And we actually have a culture that teaches that it's oppression to not follow your passions and desires. Folks, your passions are weakness. You're not strong because you follow your passion. You're weak and foolish. And this is why they go after women. And this is why women's superiority is the thing, because men are less emotional. We have a different amygdala, and the amygdala is the center of emotions, the basic center. There's a couple parts of your brain that work on that. And men just tend to be less emotional. We're also less social. That's why little boys tend to talk much later than little girls. Like, this is just well-documented science. And what are we doing now? Oh, that ain't science. That's pseudoscience. Oh, you're just a biological essentialist. Oh, yeah. It's like, no, I believe in the nurture. That's why I'm talking about nurturing right now. And some of that nurture comes from men and men leading. You know, and when you talk about your parents and like the materialism, I saw the same thing. I remember my former job at the sheriff's department, man. Forever. I mean, I was there for a long time. For me, I felt like I was stuck there, but I was there for a long time because I was trying to take care of my daughter. Most of the people were there because they're trying to ride out to get to the 25-year mark to retire. And then a lot of them would work to the 30-year mark because, well, the retirement just wasn't good enough. And I'm like, you're basically wasting the best years, the youngest years of your life until you're in your 50s or maybe even your 60s, so that you can have an easy life and maybe go and die like 5 years later, maybe 10 years later. Like if you might make it to 80,
Mm-hmm.
like that is absolute insanity to me. And I mean, I get it. I get the mindset, but I started telling people before I left, I was like, I said, I feel like most people here are just biding time. Everyone complains. Everyone's miserable. The leadership's horrible. They don't listen to the needs that we have here. And yet everyone's just kind of trying to ride out the wave because I put so much time in already. I could have been retired with my military time. They only took 3 years of military time. But I believe I could have been retired at 43. So 3 years from now,
Mhm.
I could have been retired from there at 50%, which wouldn't have been a lot, but hey, man, that's still money coming in, right? Don't have to do nothing. Wasn't worth it. Was not worth it. Was not worth the crazy schedule I had, was not worth the stress, was not worth doing things that at some point were against my religious views. And I sought out to explore the unexplored territories. I went out to go work in physical therapy, which I wanted to do in my 20s. Never got around to. Things changed. Whatever. Found a great woman. I don't like that she supports us right now, but hey, that's why part of the reason why I'm doing this. That's why I hope. Look, I mean, I'm not trying to make like, I don't think I'm going to be rich off any of this, but man, if I can support my family speaking and unifying
Mhm.
people and bringing up ideas, well, sure. I mean, I've always had I've instructed martial arts. I've been a personal trainer. I've done a lot of side jobs. It's in my nature to do such a thing. I was an education major for a while. I'm not saying I'm even the best at it, but it's just part of my nature, right?
Mhm.
And that's another thing about being a man is you have to find what your nature is and go after that and stop pursuing these side pursuits that just hedge your bet. You can't just go, well, this is a safe job. I'm going to stay here. You have to do, and again, this isn't about passion, right? You can't just willy-nilly go about passions, but you have to do what's right, what fits for you and your personality, what you can make work. And that's going out and exploring the world, and again, being a man, growing up. And a lot of this echoes Jordan Peterson stuff because Peterson was right. And what he's talking about is very deep. Long before I was into Peterson, I was into Jungian psychology. In fact, they helped me out a lot. So anyways, I don't know, Tank. What are your thoughts on that stuff?
I don't have nothing else. I think we should probably call it there.
Yeah, you're looking tired. Let me see here. So Joshua Ham, Bill, the issue of loved ones not listening is universal. Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, it's a sad thing. I mean, the Jesus said that a prophet would not be suffered in his town or amongst his family. He also said that you have to carry your cross, and that he came into the world to divide with a sword. He didn't say divide specifically, but he said with a sword. He didn't mean with war, obviously, as the first 3 centuries of Christians were complete pacifists. But you had to willingly go to your death. But what he was saying is that I'm going to divide mother from father, brother and sister, or sorry, not mother from father, daughter from mother, brother and sister, father from son, blah, blah, blah. He's saying he would divide families. And he said, but you have to forsake all that for my sake. And I understand that very well. It still is a burden to my heart, though, because it's family. I love them. And, it is what it is, right? It's our nature. And then my wife says, I'm bored with this. FYI, boundaries with kids are important as everything else in your life. Well, thanks, babe. I'm glad you're bored with this. But the horse needs to be beaten over and over again because people have thick skulls. Guys, yes, Luke 12:49 and 53. Guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Go to the links below. Go sub to me if you're new here. I think most of you are repeat watchers, obviously. I'm on All Minus One and make my content privately, personally, my own. This is the live show that I like Tank produce, but again, this is my baby because I'm compelled to speak. You can watch us over on D Live and Entropy, as well as YouTube live every Wednesday. We are going to be on hiatus because I have stuff to take care of. I think we'll be back on the 17th of February with Don of Plebeian Media, or Don the Pleb now, as I think he's rebranded it. And am I missing anything else? The OnlyFans joke isn't going to run. So I am working on Adam Kolkesh, potentially March 3rd. Haven't heard back from his people yet. We'll see. Okay, Matt says, sorry, that's from Matt says that's from Matthew 10:34. Anyways, yeah, I don't know, guys. I did have a video yeeted the other day. You can go watch on Rumble or over on PeerTube. PeerTube, which has independent servers. It's part of the Fediverse. Quite nice. I am going to continue to update my alt tech. There is a locals page. Just everybody go get on that stuff, because one of these days YouTube will no longer suffer us, and you need to be following all that stuff.
It's probably coming pretty fast too.
Yeah. That's two community guideline strikes I've had in the last week. The first one I beat. This one, nope. And again, I didn't violate any community guidelines at all. Actually, you can go watch my video and judge for yourself and read what the COOF pandemic guidelines are on YouTube. But with all that said, this has been the Ends Justify the Memes. We will be back February 17th with Don the Pleb. And remember, guys, the ends always justify those memes. Cheers, guys. Play that outro, Tank.
I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah. Macho Madness, yeah, it's got more to offer. And President Jack Tunney thinks that I got, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you something right now.